Warning! This podcast contains amazing content and strong language.
It'll be fine. Fingers crossed.
Yours. Thank you. No, I appreciate
Fingers
that. I believe firmly in the power of crossed fingers. That's no joke.
It changes everything.
Cross fingers and pinky swears are the fucking way to go.
Absolutely.
They're the way to go. Yeah. I still pinky swear with people now, and it's like a serious bond of like.
If you've pinky sweared, you can't break.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever broke that. Never. I think like honestly, just I've always been told pinky swears, you just don't break them. I swear my grand's a pagan. Like she's like, you'll lose your finger. Your finger will get cut off.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Pinky swear is a sacred thing. I completely agree with that.
Hi, I'm Natasha Jenkins.
And I'm Juliana Hopkins.
And you are listening to Back Catalogues.
Today we're talking to Greg from the Medicine Dolls. Hi, Greg. How are you?
Hiya. Yeah, very well. And yourselves?
Yeah, very good.
Hopkins and Jenkins. Such a brilliant double act. You guys, that's so perfect. Those surnames just hold hands. So perfect.
Oh, that's so sweet. We are like sisters. It's great fun doing this.
We
It's good.
do everything together.
Yeah, it's great fun.
So, can you tell us a bit about the band? Who's in the band? The names, the roles, all that.
Yeah, so I sing and play guitar. Occasionally. I don't really play guitar anymore. We've just gotten a new guitar player.
Nice.
His name is Slava. He's a Russian. So that's an interesting fact about him. And then Bex plays bass. She's the bass player. And sorry, I've had a few wines.
That's fine.
And then our drummer's name is Kai. Unfortunately, they're not here this evening, but they're here in spirit, kind of.
Yes.
All right, we've got you. That's
in
enough.
spirit.
We've got one of you at least. That's all right.
Yeah.
So how did you guys all meet and start the band?
Well, Bexy and I we lived in Johannesburg, about 1,000 kilometers from here, or something like that. And I was in a band. She was working in a sketchy club. I won't tell you the nature of that club, but it was one of those clubs. And basically the band I was in it broke up, and we were both kind of, I guess, at the end of our the endings occurred, and we were like, sort of, let's reinvent ourselves and move to a different city. So we sort of got together the little bit of money that we had and got plane tickets to Cape Town and crashed on people's couches and sort of, went from like one backpackers to the next for a couple of weeks. And then eventually a mate of ours, she put a down payment on a flat for us because she saw what we were doing, and she thought, this is just so ridiculously, like, I don't know, ambitious and stupid and beautiful and wonderful and awful. Like, what are these kids doing, So she helped us out. And then, we met our first drummer. And I was still teaching Bexy how to play. She had never played a note before we moved here. So it was just, I was sick of being in bands with musicians. This was the thing. The band I was in had just broken up, and I was like, fucking musicians. So I was like, I decided I would teach my best mate.
She's really good, and I love her vocals as well. It's very cool.
Yeah. She's really grown into such. She's only been playing for 4.5 years now, and it's definitely turned into. Probably a better musician than me, to be honest.
Sometimes
which is not saying much. But So, and then we met our Kai. Actually, Kai, the drummer now, he was the first person we asked to be in the band. When we were still couch surfing and had no, we didn't have a pot to piss in, as they say. We met him, and we were like, do you want to play with this band that doesn't exist yet, really?
Nice.
And he was like, nah, I'm in a band, man.
Drummers are so hard to come by.
You got knocked back from your own drummer. Fucking hell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he, a couple of years later, I think it was after our second drummer had left. we asked him again, and he was like, I'll fill in for this tour or whatever, and he's still filling in. 2.5 years later, still filling in.
Nice.
Yeah. So and then Slava, the new guitar player, he's sort of been in the he's been on the peripheries of the band the whole. He's one of Kai's best mates, so he used to come up and play certain songs with us occasionally, and he's been on tour with us, just sort of roadieing and selling merch and whatnot.
Nice.
And then recently I decided that I didn't want to really play guitar anymore. I just wanted to sort of, bop about.
Yeah.
So we were like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this for all the songs then?
It allows you to interact with the crowds more, doesn't it?
That's true.
Exactly. This is the thing, that the handful of songs where I didn't play guitar for the last however many years, those are always the ones that I have the most fun.
Yeah.
And I think after this COVID thing as well, because we haven't played a show since March last year,
Jeez.
which is, I don't even know how many months it is. It's too long.
Yeah.
So depressing. Isn't
So
it?
depressing.
So I think with that time off, it sort of gave like a chance to sort of reinvent the thing a little bit.
Yeah.
In
Creative
its
freedom, a bit more creative
yeah,
space.
yeah. So yeah, I think it's good stuff. What would we say? That was it. That was the question.
Yeah.
Now playing Vicious Little Sister by the Medicine Dolls.
So you were saying you haven't played in a while, but we saw you've got some gigs coming up in July, right? Like a tour and stuff?
Basically, the whole tour is to launch our vinyl of our album, which we released the album in October, but only digitally because COVID. And the pressing plant that was I guess they got backed up somewhere in Poland or something, and they do a lot of pressing for a lot of bands around the world.
Yeah.
So ours is now been sent to press, so we get it in like a couple of weeks time.
Jeez.
But we've been waiting since I don't know how long, just since October basically, because it didn't really feel like the album came out. We got CDs done and we got the digital release, but it didn't really feel like this record is out in the world now, and now it kind of feels like it actually is.
But it's nice to be able to sell copies when you're at gigs as well, and
certainly, yeah,
people come and then
This
they
is
want to
the
buy
thing.
merch and all of that. So
It goes hand in hand for sure.
And as far as online orders go, we get so many requests for vinyls, but people don't want CDs online. They'll buy them at the gig when they're sort of hopped up on your vibe. They'll be like, after the show, they'll be like, fuck yeah, give me something that I can, leave in my cubbyhole for the next 10 years, not actually listen to for any reason whatsoever.
Literally.
But yeah, I mean, it's dope that we've got these things planned now. Although we just had a speech from our president last night, and he's pushed our curfew back to 11 o'clock. So it was it's been 12 all this time, and we were like, that's perfect. That means first band on at 7, 8, 9. That's great. And now it has to be 6, 7, and 8. We had to rethink the whole evening, man. It takes a lot.
Even in July, that's staying for a while then.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I actually said that today when we were planning out questions. I was like, I don't even know what the COVID rules are in South Africa. I was like, I don't know what's the fuck's going on with you guys? Like,
it was bad when it was bad. Goodness gracious, they took our booze away.
Yeah, they did that in Scotland as well.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And
Scottish people
cigs
as well. Ridiculous. People going for Christmas dinner and having a fucking orange juice and water.
Yeah.
Like a mocktail. I think not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, they took our cigarettes away, which was a uniquely fucking. It wasn't even like they were following any sort of international trends on that one. There was just like, because again, the damage, as far as lungs go, the damage from smoking is accumulative. Yeah. It's not like you can just sort of, it's not changing the numbers of people in trauma wards. Like alcohol kind of made sense to a degree, because trauma units and shit like that, let's free up the beds. But they took cigs away for like 6 months.
What the fuck?
And you could still buy them. This was the problem, except they were like literally 10 times the price, and they were brands that you'd never seen before. So basically these sort of like, I guess, syndicates of criminal illegal cigarette sellers,
black market cigs. Nice.
Yeah, so we would end up going to like little corner shops and buying them under the counter, like sort of like doing a drug deal every time you got cigs.
Yeah, because people aren't actually going to stop buying cigarettes if they're smokers.
Of course.
They'll find a way.
My mom quit, so in a way there's a silver lining. And she's 61 and she stopped smoking because of this, and she hasn't carried on. So, if there's one thing, but again, the other thing was like a couple of mates like off themselves last year. And I feel as though taking away people's vices in that, like to the degree of cigarettes, you know what I mean? Like
it's a bit backwards.
It makes no sense at all.
I feel like stay inside, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like as well with like a lot of like people who are addicted to different things, like if they try and cut out the things that they've allowed themselves to do with being like addicted to them, like smoking, a lot of addicts continue to smoke because it's still something. If you've got that addictive personality trait, taking that away, of course you're going to have a mental breakdown. Your body can't fucking handle it,
especially everything at once as well.
Certainly
that's awful.
And it was all under the guise of it's going to be 3 weeks, so everybody stocked up for 3 weeks, and like we bought like 2 cartons of cigarettes that'll last us. And yeah, it's like 20 boxes. We were like, that's perfect for 3 weeks. We got like a bunch of boxes of wine, and we were like, this is all good. And then it carried on for just months and months and months and months and months. And then they brought booze back for a little bit, for like about a month, and then they took it away again. And also that was the other thing, was all of the bootleg liquor that was being sold as well. So you could buy wine from people who had a connection at a wine farm. So there's loads of those around here. But it was in like plastic, like sort of Coke bottle type things.
No, it's like moonshine.
Absolutely, it was still like, it was decent wine, but it cost like, so a box of wine, like a liter of wine for really cheap wine, cost like 40 rand. So like, I don't know how many. That's like 2 quid.
No.
And during this thing, it was like for a bottle, like a 750 ml bottle of plastic wine, it was like 300 rand. So I guess gangsters made a lot of money, man. And
imagine being a wine dealer. Oh yeah.
We were actually drinking loads of South African wine here during lockdown. We were the offies. They just sell loads.
We just.
But it's really expensive here. It's like £10 a bottle.
Yeah, £10 a bottle, and it's usually pish. Like a lot of them fucking. That's why we just drink the vodka.
You get the cheapest one as well.
Cheapest one, highest percentage. That's what my grandmother taught me. Obviously, she was like, "Why would you branch out for us? An expensive bottle
Scottish,
of wine."
I love that.
We've seen that you guys have a documentary about the band coming out. Called "In Case There's a Fire." So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when we were making the album up in Joburg, we had just gotten ourselves this fancy camera that we weren't filming everything with. So we just filmed the whole process. And it was almost annoying how much we were filming every single detail of every single thing that occurred. So we ended up with just hours and hours of bullshit footage as well. Like cables being tied up and whatnot. But there's also a lot of good stuff in there. Lots of little tales, kick drums being broken, and all that kind of like recording hassle and whatnot that becomes quite like it's quite hilarious. So that's getting put together at the moment still.
So are you in charge of the editing or what?
So we've outsourced some of the editing, and then some of it we're doing ourselves collectively.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's a collaboration of sorts.
Nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's going to be super nice.
We saw as well that you guys won Best Alternative Music Album in the South African.
We've been nominated. We haven't won it yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
Well,
That's so
said
cool.
yet.
Yeah.
Manifest that shit. Manifest it. It's going to happen, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. Like the South African, the Samas here are, it's like the Grammys, in this country. It's a huge thing. So for like a band that even plays our type of music, it's pretty wild that we got nominated. So cool. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody in the realm of punk being nominated for a Sama. So I've been to the award show a couple of years ago. The band I used to be in, our label sort of paid for us to go one year, as like bought us tickets and accommodation and shit, just to go show face, We weren't nominated or anything. It was just to like sort of just go show them your hair. And it was a hell of a do. It was all of that, like, red carpety and photographers and shit. I didn't even realize what a big deal it was. Although I do hope that this year that there is an event. Because
I was going to say, is it going to be online or what? Like, what?
Yeah, because so our like I think the laws at the moment are indoor events you can have like X amount of people, and outdoor events you can have X amount of people. But it's not too bad, the numbers. I think depending on the size of the venue, it's all very fucking confusing as well, because no one really knows what's being policed as well and what's being. You know what I mean? Like, it's also, I don't know, you lot have got the same. So, I mean, you've had the same kind of confusion.
It's the same here,
absolutely. It's a fucking...
Legislation doesn't really mean sense at this point. Like,
nothing.
It's a guessing game. It's a complete guessing game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, nobody has a clue what we can and can't do.
It always just changes as well.
Yeah.
We would absolutely love for you guys to come and play in London someday. Do you think that playing in the UK or Europe is something you guys would like to do? Kind of branch.
Yeah, we've got dates booked for March next year.
Yeah,
in London.
Yeah. I think 3 of the shows are in London. But so cool. We're not sure what's going to happen with vaccines and vaccine passports and stuff.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Fingers crossed. Okay.
Cross some fingers.
That's so cool. We'll definitely be there.
We have dates booked. We've got it's like a 2-week UK tour.
Sick.
That we were really stoked about when it was, I think it got confirmed in like November or something. And we were like, it's ages away, everything will be fine by then. And as it's creeping into this year, it's like these, the variants are coming thick and fast. And also our vaccine rollout here is pretty slow, unfortunately. I think we've got it's like a couple of 100,000 people vaccinated out of 57 million, and we're the as far as age categories go, I've just turned 30, so we're low on the list of like priorities. So and I guess unless that happens, then I think the dates are still there. They're just they're a little bit pencilly at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it happens, and
definitely.
If not, it will be rescheduled.
Yeah, so that would be sick. There. You're going to come to London. That's sick. Well,
yes.
We should
throw a big party.
We're going to have a big party.
Vodka's on a Monday night.
Yes. Our house is like the party house. Always is. Honestly, we just fucking love it. Even with COVID, we were like,
small,
tiny.
2
6 people. No, I mean 2, 3 max. Well, there's like 5 of us live here, so it's already a party. So so many of us are anyway that it's like you come.
You guys had some strange rules with that, like actual sort of X amount of people from X amount of households and shit. Like,
Honestly.
how do you police that?
It's
Who's
crazy.
watching? Where do you live, sir?
Yeah, literally,
no.
like,
You know what I
show
mean?
me your address. Like, how
Yeah.
do you even deal with that? It's crazy. And then it was like, it was so funny when the rules started like easing on the government website. There was like bits that was like, learn how to hug safely again.
Yeah.
We were like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck do you mean? Hug
Arm condoms.
Literally. Get like a big massive plastic bag and then hug them. What the fuck? Like, how do you police that? Like, there was loads of rules that came out about like having sex with your partner, and if you were a sex
it was
worker,
like sex is illegal now, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
made a new
Yeah.
law. It was crazy
But
shit.
now they're like, sex is back, guys. It's like, okay.
Wash
Yeah.
your toys. It's fine.
You can't write stuff that good.
Now playing Danger Danger Disco by the Medicine Dolls.
She took a piss on the tracks, the train was late. Danger, danger, disco. She gave one last fuck at 7:45. Danger, danger, disco. Oh, goodness gracious me, I caught a lesson. Danger, danger, disco. I want to die from second guessing. Danger, danger, disco.
So wait, so you said you're touring the UK. So what, you've got London planned? Do you know where else you're going to be going or planning to go?
It's a bunch of dates. I don't remember exactly. I know it's Coventry as well.
Okay.
I know it's Manchester as well.
Mhm.
And I think yeah, the last like 4 shows are in the general like towns around Manchester. I think that's
Okay.
where the promoter is. So
Right.
I think he kept it local for the last couple.
Mhm.
But I don't remember the names of the towns, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's all right. They're probably.
I just remember Coventry because that's where my dad lives. So
Oh right, sick. Sick.
other than that, it's yeah, not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manchester's fun for gigs as well.
Mm-hmm. But London will be more fun
Yes,
because
London will be the best.
we'll be here.
Definitely.
Obviously.
Again, vodka on a Monday night. I'm so holding to that.
Love it. Love that shit. It's the
And we'll
best.
have wine as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of mixtures. Absolutely.
So do you have like a favorite or funniest memory with the band? Like either from whenever really?
Yeah. Oh, I've got a nice little anecdote about touring this strange country of ours. So we had this backpackers book, but we sort of realized on the way there that we hadn't tried to not pay for accommodation, and we thought, let's just try. So we've got this place booked, but let's just see. So we posted in our group on the Facebook event, like, does anybody have a place that we could crash? Maybe is that we were like, we can get our grand back and save a bit of cash and whatnot. And this girl was like, yeah, my parents are away. I have a nice big house. And we were like, this sounds fantastic. Perfect situation. Sounds like someone's going to get in trouble as well, which also adds to the, you know what I mean? Like, it sounded like the best bad idea we could possibly.
Yes.
And so before sound check, we rocked up at this house. Right? And this very tiny child peeked through the window. And then the gate opened. And we were like, this is the wrong house because this girl's... Okay. And we're like, maybe she has a little sister or something. But we're like, maybe, possibly. So we drove into the driveway. And then this very old woman came out the back. And we're like, this must be the wrong house. We've arrived outside. We've said we're here, and this is by chance. These people think we're someone else. And then the girl who looked very much like the girl on Facebook looked like someone who would, be at a gig. It made sense then. She came out and she was like, "Hey, oh my God, you guys are here. That's so great." And we were like, "You said you had a free house." And she was like, "No, my parents are away, but my grandmother lives here, and I've got my 3 little sisters."
You're joking.
And we were like, no. this is not the vibe we were after. And I hope she never hears this. Because she'll know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, it was fucking weird. So if she is listening, it was fucking weird.
So wait, how old was she? If she looked like young, or was she like
no, that was one of her little sisters.
Grandparents.
Oh, it was one of her little sisters.
The young ones.
Yeah, okay.
And then the older one was her
okay.
grandma. Yeah, no, I think she must have been like 19 or 20 or something.
Oh, so did you have to walk around the house like really quietly and then?
Oh, this was the thing. So we got, by the time we had driven into the driveway and sort of, I had gotten out and spoken to the girl for a second. And I was like, so everything's still cool? Like, you know, and she was like, yeah, this is the situation. And then I sort of leaned into the car and I was like, guys, just take one bag each. We're going to go inside. We're going to be polite. And then we're going to make an excuse why we have to leave. Because there was no way I was going to stay in this house with this strange situation. But also there was strange, like it was just a strange group of people. She also told the girl who had invited us to stay, she told us she was very good with a crossbow.
What the fuck?
And a chainsaw as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But just a strange fact about herself. It was very strange. And again, if she's listening, I'm sorry about this part. Other than the fact that it's weird. But like, she was like, just so you know, I'm very good with a crossbow. And I jokingly said something like, that's not the best thing to tell someone you've just met. And she was like, no, for real. I'm really good with a crossbow. Don't worry. Like you can
you'll be safe.
You'll be safe.
Yeah, that's weird. Especially if she said like she had a free house or like her parents weren't there and then she didn't mention that the whole rest of the family was there.
Oh,
absolutely. Very, very strange. So they gave us also when we did go inside with a small bag each, we didn't unload anything because we were like, there's no way we're actually going to stay here. We were led to one room, her room, and it was 5 of us.
She was
in a van.
Sexy time.
Oh, dude.
She led us to, and she was like, you guys can stay in here. And it was a bed and 5 people. So it ended up being the 5 of us all sort of standing in this room, still clutching very tightly the bags that we had brought in. Being like, right, somebody needs to get a phone call from the backpackers that we're staying at, or the motel vibe. And it needs to be a phone call needs to occur where they say that we can't get our money back because the room has been booked. And I was, very quick thinking.
That's a good plan.
That's smart.
Yeah. And then so we all left the room, and outside of the room, they were lurking. Like, and I don't use the word lurking very often. It's not one of those words you just use willy-nilly.
So
like they were lurking and sort of lurking about outside the room. And yeah, so I think our drummer went outside, or no, it might have been Bex, went outside and was like, what? Are you kidding? Are you serious? Fine. Oh, I guess all right. And put down the phone call. And it was like, guys, announcement to the house. It looks like we have to stay at the backpackers tonight. And so, yeah, we quickly got out of there. We did come to the show, and it was but we were less friendly then, I think.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that
because
would
of those crossbow skills,
scary,
But
I think.
So there we go. Is that the kind of
That's
story?
fucking insane and a great story.
Great
Cheers
story.
to that. That was intense vibe. What the fuck? Oh my god. So what gig by another band or artist really stood out to you?
The 2 best live shows, no, maybe 3. The Cure were fantastic. We saw them on my birthday in 2019, which I thought was a very kind gift from the universe to let me watch The Cure on my birthday.
Yeah.
But I think the Hives, to be honest, the best live show I've ever seen. That was the question, right? Was which?
Yeah. Just watch
Okay, cool.
Like, what stood out to you the most?
I think the Hives. I watched the Hives a couple of years ago, and I've seen like live stuff of theirs online and whatnot, but I've never felt that amount of energy and like in your face sort of, it was insane, like properly insane. Like I've never had goosebumps for a whole show before. Normally it comes in waves, the old goosebumps. But yeah, that was, and then Gogol Bordello as well was another unbelievable live show. But I think the Hives, they've always been in their prime. This is the thing about the Hives, is that they've like, they're still in their prime, and they've been together since like 1998. It's ridiculous watching them, like
Intense.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I've seen like videos of gigs as well, and it seems sick. Like they interact with the crowd a lot as well, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's always good when they pull you in like that, though. When you go to a gig and they like pull you in, it's as if you're like, you're not there because you've paid to be there. You're there because they want you there. They want to perform to you.
I went to this festival and they were playing, but I bought one of those festival lineup necklace things where it tells you who's playing on what stage and when, but it was like a scammy one, so it was all wrong.
Oh no.
And
so I missed their show, but apparently it was,
that's terrible.
It was crazy.
That's shit. What the hell?
And then it just like
there's a special place in hell for people that sell those.
It was so unfair. Like, at least put the right ones,
That's so
shit.
What the fuck?
Nah, but then on the second day we bought the real one, but it was annoying. But yeah, they did this whole thing.
Happened to you, though, like literally.
I was young
and stupid.
I've learned now, don't trust the guy that comes up to you and
offers you a gig necklace. Oh no.
But apparently it was sick, and they all like froze on stage like purposely for like 5 minutes. They all stood still, and everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? And they all pretended they'd like stopped like robots. And then suddenly they went back into it, and the crowd.
They invented the mannequin challenge.
Literally mannequin challenge.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
really
sick.
cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, are there any kind of recent or up and coming bands that you're into at the moment, or artists?
Yeah, I'll ring off some local ones, some South African bands that are ridiculously brilliant. Unfortunately, some of them are kind of on hiatus at the moment. I don't really know where they stand because COVID kind of, I put a clothespin on a lot of creativity and band behavior, But Julia Robert is a really great band from Cape Town.
Cool.
Runaway Nuns is a really great band from Cape Town. There's a handful more. I'll send you guys some. A list.
Yeah, please. We'd love to.
We'd love to hear some stuff.
And then like Shame, I'm really into at the moment. I get Idol's still a new band.
Love Idols.
I mean, do they still fall under the realm of new bands? Because fucking hell, yeah.
So
Kind of.
The singer from Idols is lovely. I've met him twice. I've bumped into him twice, and he's a fucking lovely guy. Lovely
seems
guy.
like it. If there was ever a man I just wanted to get a hug from,
It's
I feel
Noel.
like, yeah, totally.
Definitely, he's a lovely guy. But they are a great band, and
Yeah.
we've spoke about them before with a few other
really
interviews because of just the way that they vocalize their opinions so openly, and the way that it's lyrically, the way it's in tune with everything at the moment. I think that's what's created such a stir, especially in the UK, with what they're singing about. When they brought out Danny Nedelko, and it was the year of Brexit, and it was just sort of like perfectly suited to the current situations of society at the time. It was just like ideal. And so many people hopped on it because they were like, this is what you want to hear, people being angry about it, but in such a creative way.
Yeah, and it kind of like gave rock and punk a resurgence, at least in the UK.
Yeah,
definitely.
So, like,
no, totally.
really
I think that it
bigger.
feels like they've inspired a whole generation of bands as well. Even bands that I can't necessarily name offhand, but like they're one of those. Every couple of years, there's one of those bands that like sort of that sound and that vibe. Like, I mean, Arctic Monkeys inspired a whole generation of bands that and they've done the same thing.
Yeah,
kids are picking up guitars and being angry about it. But
which is cool,
thing.
which is what we want.
Anybody that inspires anger in the right direction, and they have anger in the right direction, and that's something that I think, that's so necessary in this, in this current sort of political and sort of spiritual climate.
Yes.
When you like write the songs, would you usually write them yourself, or do you write them like as a band? What's the kind of
I do all of the writing myself. Not on purpose. I think that's just how the first year or two of it went, and then I guess also the people who are in the band have no real interest in writing songs anyway. Our drummer plays guitar and sings in his own band, so he has that creative outlet, which is normally is quite a frustrating thing for drummers who can also write songs and play guitar if they're in a band, because they do that thing where they're like, I've also got this song, and it's like, that's great, man. Like,
But we don't want your song.
we don't want it.
Yeah,
You're a drummer.
that's for your other band, not with us.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So it's like, it's not necessarily like a dictatorship. It's just
No.
it's quite a natural, like, Greg writes the songs, band plays the songs.
Yeah, when you've got something that works like that. Like, it's
Yeah,
got-
Yeah,
Don't- if it's
absolutely.
not broke, don't fix it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
certainly.
Definitely.
And
That's
also, like,
interesting.
again, when it comes to people's like individual parts, like I don't not see them into like playing the exact sort of, oh my goodness, did you just put a fill in that little place there, Kai? You
You
bastard.
can't
It's not like
take
that.
it out. No.
Yeah, so it's very loosely arranged like that. Like, as far as like individual bits, people can put their mark on it.
Yeah.
But I normally like, I'll record. The way our songs are normally done is I'll record like a fully fleshed out demo of the thing by myself, and then go, here's the new song, as opposed to like sort of riffing in a rehearsal studio and going like, shall we work on this thing? And sometimes tunes, they come together like that, but not so much in our band. Like, it's normally fully fleshed out by the time the band hears it.
Yeah. But that's good, because then they get to come into the studio and they know, kind of what they
Aye.
have
Yeah.
to do, and it's
Absolutely. And then from there they put their mark on it, and like, so it works well. I know a lot of people ask that question and kind of look at me like, so you're one of those lead singers, are you?
but that's cool. I think, yeah.
Not at all. It's very cool, and it sort of saves a lot of fanning about. Do you have any advice for bands starting out?
I think so. I said this the other night on a radio interview, and while I was saying it, I thought, this is the most cheesy bollocks I've ever said in my life. And then afterwards, I realized that it is just the only is to just completely just be yourself. Like I spend years and years trying to be my favorite artists. And I remember, like, I can look back and like completely remember this feeling of, and no one believes you. This is the thing. No one will ever believe you when you're trying. Like, I was trying to be Alex Turner when I was like 20. I was trying to be Pete Doherty when I was like 18, trying my hardest. Like, I just want to be Pete Doherty, and then later on I was trying to be Nick Cave. I was like, I will be Nick Cave. And looking back on those songs and and those live shows and stuff, it's not shit started occurring for me when I realized just to take all your influences and like, put them in a blender and, sort of take from everybody that you can, but put it in that you've got to just be yourself, whether that's being yourself in when you're talking to people, when you're, you know what I mean? Like, in every aspect of being in a band, just 110% be yourself. It doesn't sound like cheesy bollocks anymore.
It doesn't sound like cheesy bollocks
so
at
true.
all.
Yeah. I think the be all and end all of like all of the fulfillment that comes with being in a band, and all of the things that it's just, you've got to just like be yourself. With no sort of pretense and no trying to be that cat that you think is cool, because he's already there. No one's, if you try your best, people are going to go home and listen to the Libertines, man. They're not going to go home and listen to your demo if you're trying your best to be the Libertines. So you just got to, and it doesn't even take trying to be yourself. It's just being yourself. This is the thing. Yeah. So that
Coolest
would be
motherfuckers
the
yourself,
advice.
though.
Yeah.
And your own music and your own vibe and your own band. The coolest motherfuckers yourself. It's as simple as that. If you do what you want to do, that's it.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Period.
that's like what I was going to say, like, they're being themselves. So you don't need like a second one of them.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
why they stood out. It's because they were different.
That's why you have
Yeah.
cover bands. You have like tribute bands. That's what they do. Fuck that. Not what you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, they
It's
play
not what you do.
weddings.
They play
Weekend
weddings.
rock
That was fair enough. They play weddings. Very nice.
It's
Very
a good
nice.
gig to get, to be honest.
It is.
Good
Financially.
It pays like way
I
better.
wish we could play a wedding.
You never know. I'm sure there'll be someone out there that wants you at their wedding.
Yeah.
Manifest it. Manifest it.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Oh, brilliant.
We saw on Instagram that you have a live session coming out soon. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, so during when we did release the album, we did a live stream album launch thing, which was very professionally done, and like at the time when we did it, it was, the build up to it was great. Like we had like a couple of mates doing sort of like go-go dancing backup singers, and we had our producer fly down to play keys. We had this whole extended band, and the rehearsals were brilliant and everything was great. And then the day we got there, and the studio was this incredible warehouse with the massive lights and like the sound crew of like 5 dudes, and everyone was like, what can we get you? And everything was fantastic. And then
nice.
playing the thing was the most anticlimactic thing I've ever experienced in my life, like almost to the point of traumatic. It was like, just I guess the stale nature of those things after such a long time of not playing a show. So normally doing a live session in the studio is totally fine, but I think when you haven't played music in front of anybody in 7 months or whatever it was, that sort of the silence after each song,
5 people
and just
clapping.
a camera guy going like, and
Christ.
like they didn't even clap. This was the thing, not a single clap. It's just silence in the studio. They were all way too professional, and we weren't allowed to bring mates as well, so there was no vibe in the room other than obviously us jamming. But there's also a thing about monitors and feeling noise. There was no noise. It was all perfect. It was all like, but then we got all the footage back afterwards a couple of months ago, and it was fantastic for to release as videos, as opposed to like the live stream itself. The live stream itself, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand the experience. I thought it was it's just, but again, it was because we hadn't played live in so long that it didn't like fill the gap that I thought it would fill. But yeah, so we released one. It was a cover of Psycho Killer by Talking Heads.
We've listened to it.
We've listened to that.
Yeah, and then
Really
we've
cool.
got, so the second one coming out is Kiss Kiss Kill Me. It's from the same recording. And then I think there's another like 3 or 4 that we might do.
Nice.
Sort of when the vinyl comes out.
Nice.
So that's
yeah,
good,
that's
though. You have all this
so
footage
stuff
to
to
play
look forward to
yeah,
as
and
well.
all this footage
Yeah.
to play with. It's great, absolutely.
I
So,
don't even look like I'm faking it in the videos.
Nice.
you'd never tell you're an actor.
I was really worried about that before we got the footage back, because I just remembered the feeling inside my soul while I was playing those songs, and I remember thinking like, this is not fun.
Literally, I want to kill myself.
And then when I watched it, but also again, I suppose part of my vibe is I want to kill myself. So
So it doesn't look like you're
it works visually,
I can't imagine anything worse than like playing a song and then no one clapping. Oh no! Oh,
Silence.
no.
Silence and hot lights.
Oh, that
normally
should be a
hold
lyric.
Now playing Kiss Kiss Kill Me by the Medicine Dolls.
Oh, good goddamn! Fucked up heads just wanna get high. So nice till I can't remember why. Second chance and a smile of
Can you tell our listeners where they can find you online and where they can find your merch?
Yeah, all of the internety things, Spotify and all of those things, and then Instagram and all of those things, the Facebooks and the YouTubes and the Twitters. We don't really use our Twitter too much. We try, but we
Twitter's
forget.
deaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
We do it. We do it
difficult, like,
every now and then. We'll
stay
drop
on
a
it.
tweet, and we might get 2 likes on it or something.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
a retweet every now and then that makes our hearts jump, skip a beat.
It's the same with ours. It's like, I think we did 2 posts when we first started out.
Yeah.
It's deaded. Twitter's in the fucking bin. It's in the ocean.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
One day.
Yeah, we spent
we-
one
we-
day on it.
We're most active on Instagram, I guess, and that's also where you can find our merch and whatnot.
Amazing.
We do it all ourselves, so we do our own screen printing and all of that stuff. So it's all sort of based on interactions in our DMs, as they say.
Oh, nice. I'm Natasha Jenkins.
And I'm Juliana Hopkins.
And you've been listening to Back Catalogues.
Thank you, Greg, for coming on. It was so nice to speak to you.
Cheers. Yeah, fantastic to meet you lot. Really appreciate it.
So nice to have you on. You guys, anyone listening, we can find us on Back Catalogues on Instagram, Facebook, I say Twitter, we never use it, Twitter. What else have we got? Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts. Everywhere.
Yeah, all the streaming places.
Yeah, the major streaming platforms.
Yes.
And
on Instagram and stuff, it's all linked.
Yeah. LinkedIn and Instagram, and we will obviously be promoting these guys when the episode comes out. You can email Back Catalogues at b2bcatalogues@gmail.com for any queries or if you would like to feature on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks
for
so much.
watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Greg.
And thank you for coming on.